simple example that works on Towers of Doom. I want something I've never seen before if they're going to get out of the meta on their picks.
They may not. We'll see. They have already shown quite a few strategies there, but our draft is ready to start, so let's see what they're going to bring to Team Freedom in the first game.
Alrighty, so now that we are on Towers of Doom, what are things that we always got to be looking out for? Globals are something that has more value on this map than some of the others just because the threat that you can get over channeling those shots, but very standard bans coming out here. Malfurion for Freedom, and then Superstars was the one that is going to be giving up the Ragnaros after the Artanis ban.
Artanis has been quite a scary pick, it seems, for a lot of the teams because we have been seeing consistent Artanis bans all throughout North America so far.
Yeah, he is obviously very, very strong, and he's compared to Stitches in a lot of ways in the sense that he, you know, it just takes one good swap and you're going to be able to win the game for your team. But we've already shown here at HGC North America, certain teams are very, very afraid of him. And it's not surprising to really kind of see those bans come out towards him. The response, though, for Superstars was, in fact, the duo that everybody knows and has seen for some time, Vala and Tassadar. I do expect Freedom to move into a Warrior, probably going to be the ETC in this rotation, and then a support as well, just with Malfurion off the table. That's what I'd like to see here.
Something like Rhaegar, perhaps?
Yeah.
Brightwing too, especially... The cool thing about Freedom is that the only thing we've seen from them, because they have 3 members who have never been in the top 8 before, is their qualifiers. And they qualified in the second qualifier over Superstars too, I believe. So we have just such little information on them, which means Superstars has such little information on them.
Yeah, and then we do see the Brightwing and Tychus. I forgot Tychus had ended up making it this far through. He's an absolutely just insane hero. The Brightwing pick, the global is something that Freedom will be able to use again because it is on Towers of Doom, but typically I don't like Brightwing as a solo support. I typically want somebody else with some kind of supporting feature on the composition. And we'll see if they move that route as Ariel was banned away and Zarya as well. Very quick picks here, the Rhaegar and Tyrael for Superstars.
Nothing out of the ordinary yet, which is in itself out of the ordinary for them, right?
Yeah, they are playing very, very standard right now for Superstars in their draft. But I do want to note the ban onto the Zarya on the side of Superstars in that second ban phase, then picking up the Tyrael, has now removed a lot of the normal pseudo supports with Tassadar off the table as well to complement that Brightwing that I was talking about. She needs, or typically I like to see her with somebody that can give another shield, help her out, because she doesn't have that good of healing on her own. She's mainly focused on her utility. So very well done on the side of Superstars in this draft.
Waiting for what else will come out from Team Freedom. I'm not sure if Ragnaros will be what Insomnia is playing. Kind of team dependent which role ends up playing Ragnaros. But it definitely could be Insomnia, sort of like we saw Darkmok playing him yesterday in some of their games. They don't like Double Warrior too much. Looks like Leeming and ETC are the choices to round out, so likely it is Insomnia playing Ragnaros.
Yeah, and the ETC pickup there, now you have the opportunity to go into the stage dive. A double global threat here for Freedom with the Ragnaros is a very, very powerful tool that they have in their composition. They don't have too much to really aid with Leeming to really set her up for those kills. Tychus can, yes, weaken the front line, but typically you want somebody a little bit more bursty, and she's going to come in and finish it off. And Dahaka is the last pick here for Superstars. I absolutely love that pickup here. Again, the global is pairing it with the Warriors. The only criticism I have towards Superstars draft is that Vala is really going to be the main source of DPS, and yes, she has a lot of tools to enable her. Against a Brightwing, the more damage I have, the better I'm feeling. And I just don't know if that's going to be enough on her own.
A lot will be on the shoulders of Faye, probably, and playing Vala to be able to give the damage to the team. Another thing to note for this team, particularly Superstars, is that they've always been so good on Towers of Doom of being able to distract so that Faye can pick up a lot of the altars. Their distractions are excellent, so I'm expecting them to come out swinging this game.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable too. And if Srey, I've actually even played with him in a situation where he's shot calling. His communication is very much on point, and I really do think that's a huge advantage that we see here for Superstars in this match.
Well, we have some tweets right away since you guys have been busy watching Europe. Good job, you. Using the hashtag HGC. Can't wait for my super style look at ground, then camera with arms crossed pose.
From Srey.
From Srey, nice.
Very well done.
Hashtag blessed.
Oh, man. Very well done.
That's happening soon, Srey. Get excited. From Geek of Random, my 3.5-year-old daughter just told me she is going to be a Heroes Esports pro when she is older. Hashtag HGC. Look out, NA, nerd dad dreams. That is awesome. Keep that up.
Yeah,
that's so cool to hear.
It is, and I mean, I hope it works out. Hopefully, we end up, really being able to be that successful that long too. It's going to be amazing. But we're going to be getting into this game as soon as possible, guys. Just waiting on a few things here. Is there anything else in this matchup that you're looking at?
We've got Global versus Global. I'm excited to see Dansky. I think he should be playing Li Ming.
Okay.
It felt like we didn't get to see a ton of him in the qualifiers, but when he was on point and playing, could make some plays. Nasmus too, and that's the great thing about Team Freedom is, again, I can't mention enough, they have the potential to be the dark horse here, definitely. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think they have the opportunity to do so. The success that they had in the qualifiers, even getting some upsets there, and then again, the potential that sits behind them. There is a lot of hope, at least from my point of view, when looking at this roster moving forward, and I think that new blood is really exciting to see, even if it doesn't come out, just blowing everybody's minds away with the play. Just the development over time of these groups, are really, the longevity of them is something that I'm excited for, probably more than anything.
I'm excited to see them play, and this is going to be their very first game of HGC North America. They're playing versus Superstars, and we're ready for game number 1 on Towers of Doom. We'll see you in there.
All right, here on the blue side is going to be Superstars with their starting lineup. Faye is going to be playing Vala. Goku is going to be on the Dahaka. Tassadar is going to be played by Hosty. We're going to have Iacona on Rhaegar. And last but not least, Ray is going to be pulling out the Tyrael.
And their opponents in the red, it's Team Freedom. Dansky playing Tychus. Insomnia on Ragnaros. Collusion playing Brightwing. Nasmus on Li Ming. And Zugrug playing ETC.
Both the teams right out the gates here are committing a lot of resources to the bottom lane. There's a lot of gank potential down here, and everybody's moving through. This might be too much. The power slide from Zugrug. Already Freedom here, communication, the fact that Zugrug was going to be the one power sliding in and nobody was there directly to follow up. Hopefully this is going to be cleaned up as we move on here. But I am interested to see, nobody has put any concern towards the top lane as Dahaka does make the burrow. Team Freedom, that was a very interesting rotation to start out a game. I don't think I've ever seen that when you don't have a global to commit that much, but without a Sylve on the table as well.
Yeah, maybe their concern was that Superstars would be pushing down there too. It does seem a bit strange, but I like that at least once they recognized that they were outnumbered, they pulled back very fast. They didn't try to continue committing, and Nasmus was fast to the rotation just in case they did start to get in trouble. Maybe if someone got caught out, they could have made it a 1-for-1.
That, in fact, might be the case, and Goku in the top lane is going to be a very dominant laner here up against Insomnia. Insomnia managed to pick up his level 1 stacking Q, so he's going to be trying to get those last hits on these creeps with that as much as he can, as you see the Prime there to get it as fast as possible. Absolutely crucial if you're going to invest into that talent here on Ragnaros.
While we're waiting for the first Alter phase to start, we can look at some of the keys to the game we set up for Superstars. This is something that you and I have talked about in length. Goku needs to be the playmaker online version of Goku, not the over-aggressive one that we see sometimes at LANs. Goku has such a potential to become a big playmaker for Superstars, and Superstars themselves want to have the ability to climb back into the higher versions of NA, the higher echelons of NA, as opposed to where they've been now, where they barely were able to qualify. And I think Goku playing well, and you'll agree with me, is really important to them being able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's like a less, to give a comparison to another player would be a less drastic difference of like prismaticism.
Exactly.
That struggle at LAN versus the performance online. Goku, I think, does do a little bit better at LAN with the comfortability, but he does really need to be able to show up here for Superstars, as the top left has been channeled here for Superstars. Great delay coming out from Hosty on that Tassadar, as Dahaka has ended up making his way down to the bottom lane. Tyrael and Ragnaros are just kind of doing their own thing, stalling as long as they can. And we'll see how this channel phase works out. And
this is what I'm talking about for decision-making from Superstars. Normally, it is a agreed-upon mutual agreement that, this might be an issue. Goku has his healing from Essence, but it's agreed upon agreement, if you will, I guess. Yeah, you would both get your top one, and then everyone moved down to bottom to get the first or the ultra in the first phase. But Tyrael's not allowing that. And then in the bottom, Faye gets a bottom too because they have the global. Superstars played this way better with the global.
Yeah, they did a very good job there, and the committing of the global early on here is going to secure them more shots. And even Hosty, that last second delay, trying to buy as much time as he could with the Tassadar. Everything that Superstars is doing right now is very on point. You can tell the communication is there and the understanding of the game. And it's really why these guys, I mean, they've been, most of these players have been here for a very long time in competitive heroes. And they know their stuff, is really what it comes down to. It's just whether or not they can, you know their stuff on the exact same page, react together, work together, make sure they always have the follow-up. One thing I did know, though, is I'm impressed with how long Tyrael was able to get that, solo delay as long as he was without picking up the 4 cooldown onto his Q. Typically, you see that, you buy more time more frequently here. Because Brightwing failed to really make that transition to the top lane faster. He had all day in the 1v1, and that is exactly what you want if you're Tyrael trying to delay.
Seemed like Team Freedom 2, Ragnaros hadn't ramped up as much with his damage quite yet to maybe push away Tyrael. Eventually, Team Freedom did pick up their own altar, but it took a long time, and had it taken any longer for Collusion to get up to the top, there may have been an issue where Superstars could have contested all 3, but that was played very beautifully from Superstars.
And as we see this here, it is going to be 4 people committed. Everybody's just worried about getting rid of those sappers. There's going to be the power slide coming out from Zugrug. And that's a lot of damage going out onto Sray in the front line. Good polymorph coming out from Collusion to be able to secure that health, or DPS there. But overall, these teams just seem to be playing a bit more of the patient game, worried about the macro. And outside of that, initial advantage that Superstars was able to obtain during the Shrine phase, it's flat even.
Right. Both are just testing each other out, right?
Yeah.
Feeling each other out. This is the very first game they're playing. We don't know how much they've been playing versus each other, but likely once they found out that they were going to be each other's first opponents, stopped playing so that they could develop strategies versus each other. This is beautiful body blocks with polymorph, but Stray jumps over to Eldrin's in the nick of time, going to start everything back. Nobody notices. He's just fine. He'll be a little bit late to this, though. Yeah,
no respect there on that back, and nobody was there to punish for Team Freedom. Dahaka and Brightwing, the Globals, have kept themselves up top as Nasmus tries to get the channel. Good body block, but Goku comes in there with the burrow behind him, ends up getting the drag, dodging the missiles as well. Very well done, but Sray has just managed to join the team with Ragnaros. It is now going to be a full 5-on-5.
No close to 10 for either team, so they are able to play pretty safely, especially if this is a long poke game, but Team Freedom are the ones who are lower in health. They also only have the solo Brightwing. Superstars are the ones who can continue shielding, especially now that Kala's Embrace has been picked up. With Tyrael shielding and Rhaegar, it's hard for Team Freedom to do much poking down. If they want to get in there, it's time to get in.
Goku's in a really bad spot. Good job from Zugrug to be able to try and isolate him here. Everybody's health bars on the side of Superstars is falling quite lower here than Team Freedom, and because of the lack of burst and just raw damage, Brightwing's actually doing a very good job of being able to keep her team up here. I criticize the healing of Brightwing, but again, when Vala is your only DPS, you are going to be able to struggle into those fights until you get Tyrael and the hard engage coming out from Dahaka. As I say that though, Zugrug overextends, dragged there by Goku on the Dahaka, and now it is going to be a 4 versus 5 as Sray dives in there. Insomnia on the retreat, pops the E onto himself. Will he survive? No, Icon is going to bite him and send him back home, but Sray was the cost of that.
He threw down Sulfur's too, hoping to get enough health to get back behind, but got to give it to Goku in being able to come in at the bush at the bottom. Nobody was expecting that, especially Zugrug. Part of the problem too is that Team Freedom were low on mana, a lot of the members, especially Nasmus playing Li Ming. So that just furthers down the health bar of the core for Team Freedom round. We're looking at 36 versus 28.
And I'm glad that you bring that up. That's a really underestimated, I guess, talking point in a lot of ways, right? An or a manaless Li Ming is the equivalent of pretty much a dead Li Ming. I would rather you soaking a lane because then at least you're getting my team experience. And watching those mana bars is something I think not only that professional players, but even those you guys watching at home to better your game, understanding the mana and making sure you use that resource effectively is absolutely crucial if you're going to have success here. But after the second phase, we do see 36 shots left on the core for Superstars, while only 28 for Freedom.
Team can do a better job of making sure they're going into those altar fights with full mana, but also Li Ming does have power hungry. So if the team has the capabilities of getting her those globes, then that could help out with that situation should it happen again.
Yeah, and now when looking at the team fight here between these teams, a lot of it, I always bring up the Sanctification because it is an absolutely crucial spell, not only the impact it has, but the difficulty to be able to use effectively around the Sulfurous Smash coming out from Insomnia on that Ragnaros, because inside, if you guys haven't figured it out here by the second day of HGC, that thing hurts. It says smash for a reason. It smashes your health bar to pretty much 0, and we'll see how that comes into play here as Sray just dashes right on out.
Quick force ball from Hosty, so you can zone away Dansky with the rest of the team. All right, there's an issue that I want to address right now.
Bring it up.
A lot of players are talking about turning over new leaves, becoming better players, better people. Iacona, now is your time to be able to turn over a new leaf.
Zugrug is doing the exact same thing, so I'm not going to judge.
Fine.
Both teams are going to be hiding their heroics so far. Mosh Pit was the choice now for Zugrug, as Bloodlust was that for Iacona. Stray goes in. There's going to be the Sanct.
There it comes in. Sanctification's already been used. Collusion's in trouble. Blinks out to Nazmus. He's in the clear, but Dansky is not. Dansky is down. Zugrug Insomnia up in front, going after Iacona. The drill takes him down. It's a 1-for-1, 1-for-2 so far.
Oh, and that's going to be 2 people now dead for both sides. Goku is on pursuit of Zugrug. He's going to turn him into beef as the drag going on cooldown. Nazmus, though, on that Li Ming is alive up here. Goku's going to try and block as many spells as he can. The laser, you can't. Oh, just out of range. Faye gets the channel, and that is going to be the shots going over here for Superstars as they now take a commanding lead in game 1.
Wowzers, that got heated quickly for how the game had been going so far.
Yeah, it was. That was, you know, as we were saying, they were testing the waters. Suddenly the waters turned into tidal wave. That got really action-packed really quick. But we have to keep our eyes on Nazmus in these team fights. All it took was one reset, and what looked like an overpowering fight here for Superstars almost turned the other way. It wasn't except for, you know, Saray's passive did, you know, 50% of her HP. It hurt a little bit. But we'll see if they're going to be able to make that happen. But huge coordination there coming out from Iacona and Saray between the Bloodlust, the Engage, and then getting the Sanctification.
Okay, I totally get why he held Bloodlust now, but I still think he doesn't have to hold every talent, and he hasn't really so far this game.
Yeah.
Maybe even Iacona is evolving to not want to tilt us. his profile picture, or his profile on Twitter actually said, tilter of casters, holder of talents.
Just the wording of that alone is epic enough that I enjoy it. I would leave it, Iacona. Keep it up. Either way here, the Sappers are going to be able to move in. 2 are going to all land there. A little bit of an advantage, but for the most part, this is all just the experience game and really the shots onto the core as there's a 16 deficit. Freedom needs to figure something out.
Resilient Flame is a nice pickup now that Team Freedom has 13. Ice Block for Collusion 2 on Brightwing, so getting some more safety in for the team. Even Illusionist to give a greater range for Teleport and Li Ming, but especially Resilient Flame, man. That thing, the minute he gets hit by drag, is going to help out immensely.
One thing I do want to see from Freedom when it comes to now that we have the next Shrine phase spawning is be the initiators. The last thing you want is to be initiated on by Bloodlust, by Sanctification. They're very good at dealing with the fight later on, and so if you can catch, you only need to really get Tyrael and Dahaka out of that before you're going to be in a fine position, hopefully, to be able to channel your Mosh Pit and hold that as long as you can. As the skirmish happens down here, Iacona starting the channel. Nobody's going to be able to stop that. So these shots are going over to Superstars again, as the mid shrine is the only one left, Gilly.
And Brightwing left Insomnia, so now Stray was able to once again stop Insomnia from getting this altar, which allows the rest of Superstars to come in. Bloodlust has been dropped. ETC is being pushed over. Zugrug's nearly dead. Sanctification was used to allow all of Superstars to continue fighting. Healing up by Goku, and Ragnaros will be the one to fall. Superstars look to pick up another altar.
Yeah, very well done there, and a huge shout out to Goku in that play. He did a very good job. When Sanctification was laid down, you saw the ETC was trying to get out of it so he can maybe channel a Mosh Pit. The minute that happened, he just instantly dragged him, made sure that he was not going to be able to get that counter initiation outside of the Sanctification, and it led to a very convincing fight here for Superstars, and what seems like just a convincing game even. Not necessarily the bloodbath you'd expect for this game to be an ass control for Superstars, but they are just playing very methodical.
Team Freedom need to do something here, need to start the engagement if they can. Every time it seemed like they're just waiting, and these double altar phases are killing them. The way that they set up they had the man advantage at least at the mid that maybe they could trade out, but then wanted to be able to have Brightwing because it was a 3v4 in the bottom. Brightwing went down, Tyrael went in, there was no Holly to stop so Ragnaros could pick it up, and now Team Freedom are a level behind. At least they haven't had too much of a concern yet with bell towers, but that's even going to start being a problem as the bottom one's getting pretty low.
But because Team Freedom has not managed to pick up any really of the shots yet, -1 channel early on in the game, I just, the next phase is essentially going to really kind of determine the rest of the game. And I want to see them open up with a huge play. By the way, talking about plays, great holy ground coming out from Srey. Goku with the flank onto his burrow. The power slide as a counter response here from Zugrug. The drag. And once again, Zugrug is turned right into a, I mean, pretty much, you know, a leather rug, I think, you know, right there on the ground.
Rug.
And Superstars is going to go ahead and clean their feet as they walk through the door that might be this first game, as 3 Shines are now up.
3 Shrines, no ETC for 25 seconds. Even when he comes back, there's no stage dive. He has mosh pit, so he has to run back the old-fashioned way on a mount. And things look difficult for Team Freedom. Superstars are setting up so that they can pick up the one in the bottom first, the Ultra in the bottom. Looks like they don't even care too much about mid, especially with Ragnaros now.
Yeah, Ragnaros is going to be able to stop the delay, or at least delay long enough for the mid lane here. Goku's going to just back out, get some clear over time, but there are still 7 shots only left as the delay comes in. Great force wall. Dansky's in a tough spot for now. Goku, I expect to make the transition to the mid channel here. The Holy Ground splitting Zugrug. That's going to be the bloodlust. Things are not looking good, Gilly.
Every time Zugrug gets focused, Mosh Pit, they say, don't care. Sulfurious Smash too late to save ETC. Sanctification allowing Superstars to continue the fight. Goku clear in the backline, claims Li Ming as a 3rd kill. And Tassadar, meanwhile, will claim 5 more shots for his team. That's it.
Yeah, those 5 more shots here moving in. And that is going to be GG. Very well done coming out from Superstars. Clean, effective. I can't help but, you know, look towards Freedom's play. I would like to see a little bit more proactive, a little less reactive. Obviously, the experience between these teams is a little bit weighted in favor of Superstars. But you can't take it away from Superstars.